can't do this, I can't do that. And I just did it. You told me I could trust you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Shanique and this is the Viva La Spice. And on this channel, I like to talk about fashion, beauty, thrifting, and lifestyle. Today's video is going to be this month's installment for the monthly memo. If you're new to my channel or haven't seen any of my monthly memo videos, basically every month I try and focus on a theme or a certain word or just something that I want to apply to my life for not only that month, but for the rest of my life going forward. So for the month of November, the theme is going to be stepping outside of the box. This is something I've been thinking about for the last couple of weeks. I feel like I've just had a lot of encounters, interactions, experiences that are kind of really enforcing this sort of theme. It's something that's been on my heart for the last couple of weeks, and I don't know, I've just been getting a few signs here and there that this is what the monthly memo for November should be. So what I mean by stepping out of the box, I kind of first started thinking about this a couple weeks ago. I started running a couple miles a day about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I have never classified myself as a runner. I would always say, like, running is not my strong suit, running is not my thing, but I always wanted it to be. You know, I always wanted to be a strong runner. I would look at people who would run marathons or, you know, would just get up at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what the temperature was, and go running. And I would be envious of that. I would really admire it. But I always kind of boxed myself in and said, I'm not a strong runner based off of like my experiences with running. But, you know, this healing thing has been such a journey. And I wanted to really channel a lot of negative energy and negative feelings that I have been feeling these past couple of months into something that was productive, into something that was beneficial for me. So I've been really kind of taking my physical health seriously. I have fitness goals that I want to reach. I'm almost down to my goal weight. And I said, I'm just going to run. So I went out to the trail one day, and I hadn't ran outside since probably like March, and I just didn't know how it was going to go. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do it. And I was able to run a whole mile, stopped at the 1 mile point and looked out over the water, because that's at the 1 mile landmark. You can stop and look at the water at the specific trail I was on. I stopped, looked at the water, and you know, just tried to catch my breathing, and I really just felt so grounded. I really took in my surroundings. I really was just present in the moment, and I just allowed myself to feel like everything. And then I turned around and I ran the mile back, and it was tough, but I was amazed at my ability to do it. I was like, wow, I did it. Like, I haven't ran in so long, and I just went out there and I did it. And I felt myself like really channeling all that energy that I was feeling into this. And I went back the next day and I did it again. And then I went back the day after that and I did it again. And I was running 2 miles each time. And I felt myself getting stronger and, like, you know, just building up my stamina. Then I went back the next week and did it. And I was really shocked. I was amazed, because it's like, you know, I always said I'm not a strong runner. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I just did it. And it's like, how many times do we say we're not this? Or how many times do we say we can't do that? How many times do we box ourselves in? And a lot of times these boxes are created in our childhood, sometimes through trauma, sometimes through, you know, like certain experiences. And we carry these boxes into adulthood, and we keep ourselves in this box, and we think it's so difficult to step outside of the box or see outside of the box because we're so used to being in this box. And it's like, it's really not that hard to just step out of the box. Just do it. So one of the last times that I ran, because it's gotten really cold and I haven't kind of mustered up like the courage to go run out there when it's like 40 degrees. One of the last times I ran, I was just overcome with so many emotions, because I realized when I first started running, I was running from something. I was running from my pain. I was running from, my past. I felt like I was trying to run from something. But then I thought about it and I'm like, I don't want to run from that. If I run from my pain, I'm not healing from it. If I run from my past, that doesn't change that it already happened. And it doesn't, my past has made me who I am today. I realized that I wanted to run towards something instead of running from something. And so I was just so overcome with emotion because it's like, no, I want to run towards joy. I want to run towards healing. I want to run towards happiness. And that is what kind of made me say, I'm done living in this box that I created. Of course, society can try to put you in certain boxes, but for the most part, this box is something that I created. And I just felt like I'm done. I don't want to be in this box anymore. So with that, I do want to give out 2 shout outs to 2 podcasts. And these are people that I personally know, people that live in my hometown. The first person, because they had a Zoom call on Saturday and he said something that really resonated with me, and he has a podcast called The Pivot Mindset. I will leave like a link down below to his Instagram and to his YouTube channel, but he said something about living small. Like a lot of times we live small because we may not have like clarity on like what our purpose is or just like what we want to do. So a lot of times we live small. And I thought about it and I'm like, my brain has taught me to live small my entire life. And something that I'm learning is there's a difference between humility, so being humble, and like doubting yourself, or like minimizing yourself, minimizing your abilities, minimizing who you are. And I realized like I minimize everything. People will tell me like you're great at this, or you do this, and it's always like, oh, little old me, like I'm just this or I'm just that. And I realize in so many aspects of my life I live small, because I do feel like I don't have clarity on certain things. I do feel like sometimes I don't know what my purpose is. And it's like, that is not the life that I'm supposed to live. That is not who God created me to be or why he put me on this earth. He didn't put me here to live small. So I wanted to shout him out because that really resonated with me. And I kind of felt like, dang, just kind of like, read me, like read my entire life. But I realized I do a lot of times minimize things and I live small. The other podcast I want to shout out is actually the shirt I'm wearing. It's called Live Your Purpose. The Pivot Mindset podcast is by a man named Justin, and this one is by a man named John. So if y'all are watching this, y'all know I had to shout y'all out because I just love to see positivity just in my community. The shirt on the back, the shirt is fire, y'all. It says, I'm gonna have to turn around. It says, I'm with all the healing. And that's on period. We're with all the healing. Like that is what we're doing. And I'm also realizing healing is a journey, but it doesn't have to be a tedious one. It doesn't have to be a sad one. It does, like, obviously there will, when you're healing and you're facing facing your demons, facing your past, facing your traumas, obviously there's going to be some sad moments. It's not going to be easy, but healing should have joy in it. There should be joy in the journey. We're always on like this journey to happiness, or like, a lot of times we feel like happiness is a destination, but it's actually a journey, and there should be joy in the journey. When you're on your journey to happiness, there should be joy while you're on that journey, if you guys know what I'm saying. So yeah, stepping out of the box. So obviously, if you're like me and you've been in this box sort of like, your entire life, stepping out of it can be scary. It can be uncomfortable. But those are 2 feelings that come with getting to your higher self. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be uncomfortable. You can't grow if you're comfortable. So I've been pushing myself to step outside of the box. Like I said, with the running, it's like I never could have imagined that I would be, out there every single morning, running 2 miles. And a few years ago, I would have been like, what? I couldn't even run, like a few hundred feet without like having to stop. And the fact that I just pushed myself, it just shows me that I can push myself in so many other areas of my life, and I can accomplish anything that I put my mind to. And I want y'all to understand that as well. Every day I realize that as much as I have to learn, there is so much that I have to unlearn. And it's really, really difficult because you have to have a lot of self-awareness to realize your thinking patterns, to realize, your brain has literally been trained since childhood, since adolescence, to think a certain way. And then to be able to not only, one, realize that your brain has been trained to think that way, but to also take the steps to untrain it, it's a lot. But I realize my automatic response to things, if someone gives me a compliment, is to kind of negate that compliment, or, immediately give one back. Or it's just like, it's something in me just won't accept others giving me praise, because for whatever reason, I feel like I don't deserve it, or I'm not doing anything that deserves praise, when in all actuality, I am. Because, you never know what you're doing, or you never know how what you're doing could affect somebody, or you never know who's watching. And it's so easy in my experience, like I said, to just minimize things or dumb things down, because I feel like certain things I'm supposed to do, when people tell me I'm a great mother, I'm like, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. It's hard for me to even take that a lot of times, because a lot of times, in all honesty, if I'm being transparent, I don't feel like a great mother. I feel like, this isn't all the time, but sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm just trying to figure it out. It's also about giving ourselves credit. Just getting up every day and showing up, that is something to be celebrated. And for me, it's hard because I just feel like it's such a thin line between being humble and then also playing small. And I don't want to do that, because it's like I said, I wasn't given this opportunity to live and be here on this planet and make a difference and do great things, for me to, put myself in a box, or make myself small, or, minimize myself and the things that I'm able to do. So that's something that I've really been thinking about for the last couple of weeks. And it's really just been on my heart, because it's like, you never realize how much of an impact somebody's words can make on you until you actually hear those words. So like when I heard, like a lot of times we live small, or we play small, that really resonated with me, because I'm like, wow, that is something that I've been doing for like seemingly 29 years. And it's hard, but that's something I want to continue to do, is to just step out of my box. I've been going to this workout class at 6 a.m. And when I tell y'all that that's also something a few years ago I wanted to do, but never thought I could. And now that I'm doing that, like last week I went to boot camp 3 days in a row. And it's just amazing what you can accomplish if you just put yourself out there. I think a lot of times we're just so in our head and just in our, in a headspace where we can't even get there because we talk ourselves out of it, or we're so in our head. Like this morning when my alarm went off, I really contemplated just staying in the bed. But once I finally got out there, once I got done with my workout, I was so happy. And I was like, wow, I really would have regretted it if I didn't, get up. So a lot of times we just have to push through and silence those thoughts, because like I said, we have to retrain our brains. If for years and years and years, we have a certain response to certain situations, it's going to take a lot to unlearn those responses and come up with new responses. So yeah, that is something that I have been implementing into my life, stepping out of my box that I created for myself, and also getting out of my own head, because that is a daily struggle, daily challenge, lifelong challenge, getting out of your head and just doing it. And I want to know what you guys, if there's something that you've always wanted to do, but for whatever reason in your mind, you just said you can't do it, or that's not you. And I want to challenge you guys to actually try and do that, because like I said, I always said, oh, I'm not a runner, or I could never run a marathon. And now it's like, maybe I could, because I actually just got out there and did it. And a lot of times our pain can be positive, because we can channel that energy and put it into something. You know, turn your pain into passion, turn your pain into something that's productive for your life. I mean, pain is inevitable. We're always gonna have moments in our life where we feel pain. It's what we do with that pain that actually matters. And I'm so happy that I decided to take that negative energy and use it into something that was beneficial and productive, instead of, you know, maybe sitting around and being in my feelings or letting it consume me. And it revealed a layer of myself that I didn't know existed, if that makes sense. So yeah, so for the rest of the month and for the rest of our lives, I feel like we should definitely take the steps we need, even if they're little baby steps, to step out of our comfort zone. Maybe there's a color that you're like, you really like it, but you don't want to wear it because you feel like it's not you. You can start there. Maybe it's a hairstyle. Maybe you're like, I'm not adventurous with food, but you want to be. Try one thing. It doesn't have to be like something super groundbreaking, but just start. Because if we have so many reasons why we don't want to start something or we don't want to do something. And a lot of times it's really as simple as just doing it. All right, you guys, that does it for this video. Like I said, I will leave the links down below to those 2 podcasts. I will also link my Depop shop down below, as well as my Instagram if you want to give me a follow. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. And as always, I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.